Mr. Gates, here you have it, very experienced security professional, and the main focus of any strategy, according to Mr. Gates, should be prevention of crime rather than solving crime. And prevention of crime has many dimensions, including why people get involved in crime. You know, it's a very difficult thing. If you can't have enough to support your family, I believe that crime and criminal activities are a function of a failed economic system, a failed educational system, a failed social welfare system. When those systems fail, people think otherwise, and people go the wrong way. And Mr. Gates also mentioned people need a second chance sometimes. There must be rehabilitation efforts, institutions that take ex-convict, rehabilitate them, so that even within the prison system, there should be rehabilitation professionals that work with the inmates there, so that when they come out, they're well versed, they're being taught various skills. They can have a job, they can have a family, they can be useful to society. Those are the kind of strategic direction that we will be bringing forward once given an opportunity, because crime has never been worse than it is like today. I mean, but Nigel will go more into that. So I'll now invite Mr. Anthony Snow. Mr. Anthony Snow is a Human Resource Director of Job Fair Worldwide. He's a leader of Fundamental Structure Group of Guyana. And just to mention that none of these endorsers, I've known none of them before. Nigel, I believe, didn't know any of them, but they've seen our messages, they've seen our passion, they've seen what we try to do, they see our character as leaders, and they have opted to come forward and endorse us, which a lot of people don't have the courage to come forward. And I must say, I'm a businessman, but a lot of people in the business community, it's sad, because they're the ones that will complain the most. But the ordinary people, the professionals, the rank and file that are attracted to us, I think a lot of people understand our message and they are going to vote for us. They're the silent majority, but it takes a lot of courage to come forward. So let me invite to the podium Mr. Anthony Snow.
Good morning, everyone. First and foremost, I would like to thank the living God that makes it possible for all of us to be here today, right? Because, you know, without God, we don't stand a chance, much less an opportunity to make change happen, all right? I would like to thank Mr. Vidal, Mr. Hines, and everyone in Change Guyana that allowed me the opportunity to be here today. And why I say allowed me, because there's a lot of productive young people in the country, and they don't even realize that they do have an opportunity to be part of an active change, okay? Now, normally, for those of you who know me, you know that I talk a lot and don't really tend to write things down, right? I tend to go off of my feelings and my emotions, but for this particular instance, I definitely needed to, because there's a lot of things that need to be accomplished when I do this endorsement here today, okay? First of all, let me let you know a little bit about myself, right? In 2011, I formed a group called the Fundamental Structure Group, which was a political party set out to contest the 2011 general election. Up to nomination day, we decided to pull out due to corruption in GECOM, where GECOM actually tampered with our list and gave us very limited notice on time to correct it, which is something that I encourage all new political parties and everyone getting in the field to be aware of, because that's where a lot of the skullduggery tends to happen, okay? I'm also the Human Resource Director of Job Fair Worldwide, which is actually an international group of over 200,000 global professionals who are connected to us. We're about results, we're dynamic, we're about getting the job done, okay? Additionally to that, I'm a master chef, and I'm a father of 6. So I only had it that everybody else is going through, I ain't going through that, right? Now, just like children who were raised in the ghetto, I had an opportunity to go to the school of hard knocks, right? Not everybody gets to go to the fancy schools and all this stuff, right? And I tell you, that started for me in 1986. And I graduated with my master's here at Camp Street on July 9th of 2017, and we celebrated it with a very big bonfire. I'm sure a lot of you would have saw that on international news. And that was during a failed attempt on my life, as a lot of people don't like to put out there. Young leaders are being attacked all over the country. Everyone that has an opinion is being alienated and is being put down. And the funny thing is, we live in such a judgmental society, and we have no reason to be judgmental because with all the resources, we still haven't gotten anywhere yet. Right? Now, here are a few reasons why I chose to endorse Change Guyana. And it deals with a little history. I like to do my research, right? I don't like to speak without a little bit of knowledge behind it. Currently, Change Guyana is the only political party that is actually poised to usher in a long-awaited industrial revolution here in Guyana. And that is because we have a businessman at the helm. Somebody that understands what development is and how it can be integrated into a society such as Guyana. Okay? Now, during the course of the last 50+ years of this so-called independence that Guyana's had, you know, we've had 2 major political parties that have dominated, and this has caused political stagnation for the whole country. The names of those parties is the PNC, which is the People's National Congress, and the PPP, which is the People's Progressive Party. Seem to only be progressive for a few, right? Now, when they dominated our socio-economic and political landscape, they created a lot of issues. They dominated through control, using racial tensions to hide the real cause of the problem. You see, for Guyana, we don't really have racism as a problem. What we have is a hidden class system. We have the haves, and we have the have-nots. Those who have work to keep what they have, which is why, you know, as Mr. Badal clearly stated just now, a lot of people in business, they want to keep their mouth shut. They're scared to come out because they do not want to become part of the have-nots. And that's going to keep a lot of people down, right? Now, this system of the haves and have-nots has been systematically subjugating all Guyanese to a mental and an economical style of slavery throughout this whole 20th century. And it's something that we need to get away from, all right? Now, while the people in Guyana punish every day living below mediocrity, our politicians are living very good lives. As soon as they get into power, they double salaries for themselves. They break promises. They break constitutional laws. The average young man or woman who breaks a simple law goes to prison. And the big boys who break it don't even get sanctioned. Right? This is a gross, unfair treatment to everybody in society. Right? And we need to do something about this. In my opinion, the moral compass of Guyana is broken, but it is not beyond repair. Now, why do I say that? Because every day, especially currently, you see more and more new groups and people of dynamic energy stepping to the forefront and saying, we've had enough. But all of those groups can't get ahead without support, which is why groups such as the Fundamental Structure Group, such as our network at Job Fair, we put aside the big buy attitude and we come forward to put our energy where we know a true change can actually happen. Now, it's important for all Guyanese to pay attention when I tell you that we have had a lawyer as a president, and half of our country during that time was alienated. There was a one-sided atmosphere that became the catalyst of the brain drain, right? And that systematically disabled the capacity for future growth for decades to come, without saying names, right? This was due to a gross manipulation of the law by having a lawyer as a president, right? And also the country's resources, where that lawyer was once considered one of the richest black men in the world. forming lifelong divisions among both Indians and Afro-Guyanese that we still suffer from today. And we need to change that. Okay? The legacy left by that man was all but peaceful and prosperous. And I know this because my grandmother was one of the East Indians that had to flee into Venezuela. And he passed for refuge. Right? To this day, you see many of the people who choose to support that group still lacking the necessary resources they need. Which means that the people that they follow never prepared them to stand on their own. They only trained them to be followers. Change Guyana is here to train people to be leaders, because that is what Guyana needs. We need young leaders. We need people who have the capacity to stand on their own. Guyana's not at the time to where we're supposed to babysit everybody. Everyone has to have the power and the energy to stand on your own. And the only way to do that is to embrace the change that's coming. Now, after the liar, we were given a liberal. And I must thank the liberal, because through the liberal, we were actually able to bring about free and fair elections. Unfortunately, due to the predecessor's behavior and the damage that was caused, the liberal's term was short-lived. Maybe he could have done more. Who knows? But Peter paid for Paul in that regard. Right? So his story was short-lived. But after that, we went one step up. We got the doctor. And I can tell you the doctor's reign was not healthy. He didn't even live to see his goals achieved. The people that selected him to lead them were violated by those who he left behind. The doctor was not a good teacher. And then for the first time in the history of Guyana, as a free country, the country was handed over to the foreigner to be the executive. At least I can tell you, the foreigner, she had good vision. She realized that the country needed somebody who understood money. So she put an economist. And the economist went through and he had good energy, valiant efforts, but he had too many damn friends. And those personal interactions tainted his style of governance, and eventually Guyana fell into a state of corruption, drug dealing, and violence that was worse than anything we had seen prior, because it was systematic this time. And it was already embedded into the culture of Guyana. We made a poisonous lifestyle turn into our cultural behavior. And that continued to haunt us. Well, things seemed to change a little bit later, because after that we were given who I would term as the tropical Santa Claus. With a very big bag, but very empty at the same time. A square peg in a round hole was he. Meant well, but couldn't do much. Just a figurehead. And we needed something different. This leads us to what I would consider probably the worst choice ever. Finally, life brought us to a soldier. Now this is dangerous, right? Because we, as a country, chose someone who was programmed to follow orders all of his life and decided he would make a great leader. You don't put the follower to do the job of a leader. They're good at maintaining the status quo, but they're not good at setting new standards. And Guyana, we need leaders at the helm. But what I said to myself was that was a result of the brain drain, right? The brain drain that started so long ago. It made it very hard for Guyanese to make proper decisions, because if you don't have enough intelligence, how can you make a proper decision? You're going on hearsay as opposed to going on facts. But numbers don't lie. That's why an economist and a businessman is a good way to go for us. Because numbers don't lie, and we need to generate numbers. We need to generate a positive interest and a positive, productive business platform for everybody here in Guyana. We as Guyanese cannot continue down this road of suffering, hunger, and corruption any longer. Right? And I'm not perfect. But let me tell you what, I learned to survive here. And one of the reasons why I was so excited about endorsing this party is because they termed Mr. Badal a hustler. Oh God, we all need to hustle. Let me tell you this right now. One, the current government that we have is taking orders from somebody because that's what the soldier does. He takes orders. And I can definitely tell you this, if it's not in the interest of the Guyanese people, so who really are giving those orders? The numbers don't add up in the interest of the Guyanese people because 1 or 2% really doesn't sound like a good cut of something that belongs to me. Right? We have suffered a bravery, we have suffered a life drain, and if we continue down this course with APNU or PPP, we will suffer an oil drain and possibly end up worse in other countries who are supposed to benefit, but because of bad management and horrible people infiltrating as dictators inside of what's supposed to be free governments, all of these people have suffered. Oil could be a blessing, or it could be a disaster in disguise, right? So it's very important that everyone knows that. Now, looking back at the choices made by the people of Guyana, and I dare say, using some degree of common sense, the choice is clear. That only someone who understands finances and has a decent command of the respect of their peers will be able to help lead Guyana into the next stage. Open up the door for industrial development for another 100 years to come that will be passed down to other governments who are elected through free and fair election processes that are actually managed by the people and not hindered or tainted by corrupted affiliates where a president gets to pick the person in charge of the electoral bodies or the person who has to manage the election cycle. I think that's completely ludicrous, by the way. You're picking the person who got to judge your test. You're going to win every time, you're going to pass. It's clear indication that they're setting it up. But who knows? Maybe I'm just a foolish young man, right? As they consider most of us young people too foolish to lead our own lives, right? I don't believe so, but society might try to deem us that way. Now, Mr. Robert Badal and his team, and I'm proud to join that team, I know is a catalyst to take Guyana to the next level. And for those of you who might not understand the word catalyst, that is the situation. That is the one thing that causes change to happen. You need a catalyst. You need something to trigger it. Nothing bangs without gunpowder. You need gunpowder to take us into the next level. Is that bang, 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 to wake Guyana up. Let me tell you, it's not easy to have a little bit of money in this country and come through and hustle your way to the top and then have to stand up against the people that you see doing nonsense because you put it all on the line. Yeah. And in saying that, let me tell you guys something, right? A little message. In this life, it's not about who you love. It's about who loves you. And in saying that, I also send out the call to all other political groups in Guyana, especially the smaller ones right now. If you truly love Guyana, come and join the table that has been prepared for you. If you look around, there's a lot of tables waiting for people. Now, we all have a role to play. And today, walking in there, I'm a little nervous. Coming up to this whole stand here, I felt a little like John the Baptist, about to give a message and lose my head. But as I say goodbye and I walk away from this podium, I can tell you one thing. I feel more like Spartacus. The revolution is real. Vote Change Guyana, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.Snow.
Yeah.
Very inspiring, very thoughtful.
Yeah.
In his own way, Mr. Snow has summarized the status quo since independence to now. And he made a big appeal. He's indicating that the only clear choice, having had so many years of PPP and PNC and APNU, that the only real choice is change Guyana. And I understand Mr. Stowe for being so bold and courageous
And honest.
and honest and coming to this podium.